Until recently, it's been really difficult to do this, which is to take a single video, so one normal video of two actors interacting in a scene, maybe touching each other, and get that into Unreal onto MetaHumans and have the scale of them, etc., working properly. So this is Autodesk Flow Studio, and they've had a MetaHuman preset for a while, but it was only in their AI mocap mode, so no facial mocap. Well, now I've been able to use a MetaHuman inside the live action advanced type of project, which means it records facial motion capture. And also, in my experience, it ends up with a better result than the AI mocap mode. Now, the results are not perfect. There's still some foot sliding when they move around, which you can fix in something like Cascadeur or just inside Maya. And also, I don't think I have the T-pose perfectly set up. It looks fine, but the actual final result, you can see the hands, etc., are just not quite right. So that needs some refining. And also, the facial motion capture is very basic. I mean, it is as good as it gets. It's state of the art right now. I can't find anything better from a 4K wide shot, getting both characters talking. I think it does a pretty good job, but it's still not really usable for production or anything. It's just sort of a rough guide. So let's take a listen.
I didn't want to tell you, but I heard them outside.
Who? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to get in the car and drive north. You can join me, or you have to decide that this is real, and we have to leave now.
For facial mocap, I think you'd get much better results actually by using the MetaHuman animator just in audio mode. So making a WAV file that's just one person in the scene talking and then making another one and running them separately through MetaHuman animator to get the lip sync, and then animating the emotion and eye movement by hand or using ZenBlink, for example. All right, now you know what to expect from the results. Let's go through what I'm going to show you in this video. It's an 8-step process. It's going to take you a few hours, and it's pretty boring, I'd have to admit, but here it is. So we'll start by choosing a video to do our motion capture to, and it's important it's a locked off camera for this to work. Then we'll make 2 MetaHumans in Unreal 5.6, choosing their body sizes exactly as we want. Then we'll create a combined skeleton mesh of each of them. Then we'll adjust both of them from an A pose to a T pose, because that's what Flow Studio needs. Then we'll export them as FBX files. Then we'll install the free official Flow Studio add-on for Maya. Then in Maya 2026, for each character, we'll import them, and then we'll add the 88 AR kit blend shapes that Flow Studio needs using a special automatic script of mine that you can download for free. Then we'll use the official Flow Studio add-on to guide us through various adjustments, and then it will export a special folder. Then on the Flow Studio website, we'll start a live action advanced project and upload our first character. Then upload our second one. Then we'll add them to a video and choose an Unreal project as the output type. Then we'll process the video and download the resulting Unreal project. Then we'll open that Unreal project in Unreal 5.3.2, which is the version it's actually made with, and rename the animations and migrate them over to the Unreal project with our MetaHumans in it. Then we'll retarget the body animation to the MetaHuman. Then we'll use another special script to retarget the AR kit facial blend shapes onto the MetaHumans. And that's it. That's the process. It's quite involved and some of it's really tedious, so you have been warned, but let's get started. The first step is to choose a video that you want to use, and I'm going to use this video that has got 2 characters in it. A locked off shot is going to work a lot better. In this process, it's not going to work with a moving camera, and I'm going to make MetaHumans called David and Jane to represent them. All right, now we need to go through the process of exporting bodies from Unreal. So if you haven't installed the Epic Games Launcher, make sure you do that. And then install any version of Unreal from 5.6 onwards so that it has parametric bodies. So 5.6, 5.7, or 5.8. Make sure in the Epic Games Launcher that you click the downward facing triangle next to Launch and click Options. Then in the options window, make sure MetaHuman core data is enabled. This is vital for later, and if it isn't enabled, click it and it will download 6 gigabytes approximately of files. All right, now click to launch your Unreal 5.6, 5.7, or 5.8 engine. Click the Film and TV template, click blank, and name your project, and click Create. Once the project opens, go into the Edit menu, Plugins, search for the word MetaHuman, and enable MetaHuman Animator Calibration Processing, MetaHuman Animator Depth Processing, MetaHuman Core Tech, MetaHuman Creator, and MetaHuman SDK. Agree to any warnings and click Restart Now. Now we need to make some MetaHuman characters. So in the content browser, go to All Content and make a new folder called Characters. Open that. Now right-click in the content browser and go to MetaHuman, MetaHuman Character. Rename that file as David, and then in capitals MHCHAR, and open it, and adjust the face and body as you like. It will say Missing Project Settings. Just click Enable Missing. And I'm going to go into the Hair and Clothing tab, and I'm going to remove the default, just so it's easy to see the body. And once you're happy with the character, just go ahead and save that window. Then go up to MetaHuman Character, Export Combined Skeleton Mesh. Choose your Characters folder, leave it named as it is, and click Save. Now you can close that editor window. If it's created a David folder in here, just ignore that. All right, now we need to create our second character. So right-click and go MetaHuman, MetaHuman Character. Rename that file as Jane MHCHAR. Now double-click to open that. Once again, adjust the body as much as you like, or you could start with a preset. And I tend to go into Hair and Clothing and remove the default garment. Then save your editor window and go up to MetaHuman Character, Export Combined Skeleton Mesh. Choose your Characters folder, leave it named as it is, and click Save. Now you can close that editor window. And now you'll have two combined skeleton mesh files, but they're in A pose, and we need them to be in T pose. So for each one, we're going to adjust them into a T pose and then create an animation file for them. This process is about 8.5 minutes for each character, and it's really boring. But I've tried using T-pose assets to make it faster, but that seems to screw things up. So anyway, bear with it. So let's start with the first character. So open the combined skeleton mesh. Now we need to change the left side of the body, which is on the right side of the screen, into a T-pose. So in the skeleton tree, click clavicle_L. Then in the Details tab, change the green rotation field to -80 and press Enter. Now click on upper arm_L, and the clavicle will move some more, and that's normal. Change the green rotation field to 0 and press Enter. Click lower arm L, change the blue rotation field to 0 and press Enter. Click hand L. In the blue rotation field, type 4 and press Enter. Now click on lower arm L and click back on hand_L. All right, now we need to do the fingers. So click on index metacarpal L, blue rotation field 5 and press Enter. Index 01, blue rotation field, type -14 and press Enter. Index 02, in the blue rotation field, type 0, and press Enter. Now click on middle_metacarpal_L, then in the blue rotation field, type 10, and press Enter. Now click on middle_02_L, and in the blue rotation field, type 0, and press Enter. Now click on ring_metacarpal_L, then blue rotation field, type 4, press Enter. Now click on ring_01_L. Then in the blue rotation field, type -14 and press Enter. Now click on ring_02_L. Then blue rotation field, type 0, press enter. Now click on pinky underscore metacarpal underscore L. In the blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. Now click the pinky underscore 02 underscore L. Blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. Now click on thumb underscore 01 underscore L. Then in the green rotation field, so not blue but green, type -25. Click anywhere in the details panel and the rotation field will update again. Now in the blue rotation field, type 10 and press enter. Now click anywhere in the details tab gray area to update it. And back in the skeleton tree, click thumb underscore 02 underscore L. Then in the blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. All right, so that's the left side of the body into a T-pose. Now we need to do the right. Click on clavicle underscore R. Change the green rotation field to -80 and press enter. Now click on upper arm underscore R and the clavicle will move some more, and that's normal. Change the green rotation field to 0 and press enter. Click lower arm underscore R. Change the blue rotation field to 0 and press enter. Now click hand underscore R. Blue rotation field, type 4 and press enter. Now click on lower arm underscore R and the hand will move some more, and that's normal. And click back on hand underscore R. All right, now we need to do the fingers. So click on index underscore metacarpal underscore R. In the details tab, blue rotation field, type 5 and press enter. Index underscore 01 underscore R. Then in the blue rotation field, type -14. Index underscore 02 underscore R. In the blue rotation field, type 0, press enter. Now click on middle underscore metacarpal underscore R. Then in the blue rotation field, type 10 and press enter. Middle underscore 02 underscore R. And in the blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. Ring underscore metacarpal underscore R. Then blue rotation field, type 4 and press enter. Ring underscore 01 underscore R. Then in the blue rotation field, type -14 and press enter. Ring underscore 02 underscore R. Then blue rotation field, type 0, press enter. Pinky underscore metacarpal underscore R. In the blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. Pinky underscore 02 underscore R. Blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. Thumb underscore 01 underscore R. Then in the green rotation field, so not blue but green, type -25 and press enter. Click anywhere in the details panel and the rotation field will update again. Blue rotation field, type 10 and press enter. Now click anywhere in the details tab gray area to update it. Thumb underscore 02 underscore R. Then the blue rotation field, type 0 and press enter. All right, so that's both sides of the body into a T-pose. Now we need to create an animation from this. So save the window, although it won't actually save the pose, and click Create Asset, Create Animation, Current Pose. Save this in all content characters as the character name, capital MH, CHAR underscore capital CSM underscore T-pose. Now go ahead and save and close that T-pose that will have opened up, and then save your other editor window. All right, now you need to do that same process for your second character. So in my case, that's Jane. So I need to open up her combined skeleton mesh, adjust it so it's in a T-pose, create an animation asset for the current pose, and save that as Jane MHCar underscore CSM underscore T-pose. Now we need to export those T-posed skeleton meshes as FBX files. So in the content browser, right-click the first one and choose Asset Actions Export. Save it with the default name. In the next pop-up, set it to FBX 2020, turn off the level of detail, turn off collision, and turn off export source mesh, and click Export. Now do the same for the second one. So right-click on the T-pose skeleton asset and choose Asset Actions Export. Save it with a default name. In the next pop-up, you can leave all these settings as they are and click Export. All right, now we need to use Maya to continue this process. But before we open Maya, we need to install the special Flow Studio add-on. So go to the Flow Studio help website, click on Downloads, and then under Install the Validation add-on, click the Maya tab, then click on the Here link. It's going to download WD Maya Tools main.zip. Go to Windows Explorer and extract that zip, and then open that folder. Inside that folder, select the WD Maya Tools folder and the file called wdmayatools.mod and Control-C to copy. And then you need to go to a specific folder. And on Windows, that's in C drive, Users, Your Name, Documents, Maya 2026, Modules. So open that up and press Control-V to paste. All right, now open up Maya 2026. So I'm going to first process my first example character, David, but you need to do the same process with both of your characters. Create a new blank scene in Maya. Now import the FBX mesh with the character in a T-pose from Unreal. That will take a few seconds to process. You can see that in the outliner, it will probably have a duplicate name. If it does, remove the duplication and add underscore face to the end. Now, click that mesh and press Ctrl-G to group it and rename it as Geo. Now we need to make our body group. So click the root object in the outliner, press Ctrl-G to group, rename it as your character name MHPARAM BSS _body, and make sure the underscore body at the end is in all caps. All right, now we need to save your Maya scene. So go File, Save Scene As. Now, it's really important that you make a new folder called Maya_scene, and then you make another folder inside that with your character name and open that and save your Maya scene in that. Because unfortunately, in the end, you're going to overwrite each of your character's files if you don't do that. So it needs to be Maya_scene and then another folder called David, and then save it in there. And name the scene as your character name MHParam, and save it. Now we need to start the Flow Studio process. So in the shelf above the viewport, click the tab Flow Studio, and then click the first icon, and a window is going to pop up. Click on Refresh Validation. It's going to give an error checking if Geo group exists. So now we need to fix that. So select your mesh in the outliner, duplicate it by pressing Ctrl-D. At the end of the name, change it from face to face_clean. Select that. Then in the channel box editor, select the tracks from the top to bottom. So translate X down to scale Z. Right-click and choose Unlock Selected. Now go into the poly modeling shelf. Click the buttons to delete history and freeze transformations. Now we need to add a blend shape that Flow Studio can use later to store the facial mocap. So go to Windows, General Editors, Script Editors. Now clear the top of the script editor. Make sure you're on the Python tab and make sure it's empty. Now you need a free Python script that you can download in a free zip that's on my website at virtualfilmer.com/free stuff. And then download the one called Maya Script Add 88 Blend Shapes for Flow Studio. Unzip that and you'll have a .py file, a Python file. So now drag that into the script editor at the bottom. Press the blue-green play icon to run the script. It will pop up a new window. But now in the outliner, click the clean mesh. Go back to that new pop-up and click the blue Add Blend Shapes button. Once it's finished, you can click to close this little pop-up. And you can minimize the script editor for now. In the outliner, click the clean mesh. Go to the channel box layer editor. And you'll see there's a new input called Blend Shape 1. And that will have all 88 blend shape targets that you need for Flow Studio. All right. And now we need to bind the clean mesh to the exact same joints as the original. So twirl down the underscore body group and select root. Go to the select menu at the top and click on hierarchy. Hold down Control and click on your new mesh. So face underscore clean. Now go to skin and then click the box next to bind skin. Make sure it's set to selected joints, closest distance, classic linear, interactive distance. Allow multiple bind poses is off, max influence is 5. Maintain max influence is off. Remove unused influences is off. And click on apply and close. Now we need to transfer the proper weights. So select your original mesh, so the underscore face one. Hold down Control and select your new mesh, so face underscore clean. Then go to the skin menu and click the box next to copy skin weights. Make sure it's set to closest point on surface, 1 to 1, and closest joint, and click copy. Now hide your original mesh in the outliner and move a few joints around to test this new mesh, so the face underscore clean one. And it should work perfectly. So delete the original, just the underscore face one. Rename face underscore clean back to just underscore face. Now in the Flow Studio pop-up, click on Refresh Validation again. It's going to show a yellow exclamation mark next to checking the rig. Click on that yellow exclamation mark. And after a few seconds, it's going to turn green. Now click the Joint Mapping button. Click on Auto Assign Bones. And then you can close that little pop-up. And then click on Refresh Validation again in the main pop-up. Now I need to change a material quickly. So click on the mesh in the outliner to select it. In the Attribute Editor, click the right triangle in the tab section to move to the material. It's going to be named something random. Now change the type drop-down to standard surface. And now in the pop-up once again, click on Refresh Validation. Now you need to choose the face mesh. So select your mesh. And in the pop-up, to the right of the Face Geo text field, click on the little green plus. Now, at the bottom of the pop-up, click on Export without XGen. Now in Windows Explorer, in that folder you chose to save your Maya file, you'll see a new folder called Flow Studio Character Data. And you're going to upload that later on to Flow Studio. All right, now repeat step 4 with your second character. So repeat the previous step with Jane FBX. Just remember to save the new Maya scene in an entirely new folder called Jane. Otherwise, the generated Flow Studio character data folder will overwrite the one that you just made for David. Now we need to import those into Flow Studio. So open the Flow Studio website. Click on Create New Project. Roll over the Live Action Advanced tab and click Continue. Now go up and rename it as the date and what you're doing. Now we need to upload our first character. On the right-hand side, click on Upload Your Own, and then name the first character David _ BS MH Param and click Create. Now drag the Flow Studio character data folder into the box with a plus on it. Then click Upload. Then click Validate. It will tell you that validation process is about to start, and then just wait a few seconds for it to process. Make sure it says supports facial performance and USD compatible. And then click the X to close. Then up here on the right, click on the lower tab, and you'll now see your new character is loading. You can go ahead and add your next character. So just click on Upload Your Own, and then name the character. And once again, I like to call it _BS MH Param, and click Create. And then once again, find your character's Flow Studio character data folder and drag it over and click on Upload. Then when it's ready, click on Validate. And once again, make sure it says supports facial performance and USD compatible, and your character is ready to use, and you can close that. All right, now you can go ahead and upload a video file that you're going to use as a test file. So drag that in, then click the Next button, and then click Scan Frame for Actors. Now drag the male character over onto the male, and the female character onto the female. Leave the other options as they are, and click Next. In the pop-up, change resolution to 4K. At the bottom under Export Scene, turn on UE Scene, and click Start Processing. And if you have a 15-second video, for example, it will take about an hour and 10 minutes, and that's with a 4K video input and 2 characters. Once it finishes processing, just click on it and it will pop up, and then you can watch the preview of the scene. And then you can click on Export Scene, and then click on UE Scene to download that. It will download as a zip file. Now, go to your downloads, and it's really important that you rename it now to something much shorter. Now, unzip it, but I would just keep it in your downloads folder, or move it to C drive root directory, for example. You just might find that long names in the project might cause errors if you move it too deep into your hierarchy. All right, now open the newly unzipped folder, but don't open this Unreal project yet. So I would really suggest you install Unreal 5.3.2. I know it's old, but that's the format that Flow Studio creates. And I've found that if you open the project in a newer version, Unreal tends to crash in various ways. So with Unreal 5.3.2 installed, go ahead and double-click the project that you downloaded. So ws_project.uproject. It will open in 5.3.2, but all the files in this project are completely generically named, and that's going to get really confusing. So open up the characters folder and rename the first one as David_BSMHPAR_ a quick name for your scene, and then _ from WS project. Then rename the second characters folder as Jane _ and then the same thing. Now I need to go into each of those folders, delete some files, and rename some others. Open up the first characters folder, the David folder. Then select both the BP and the CR items and press delete on the keyboard. Then click force delete. Now open the skeletal meshes folder and rename all of these with the same beginning, but then the end needs to be underscore, David, etc. Then go back a level and go back a level again and go into the Jane folder and select the BP and the CR and delete them. Now open the skeletal meshes folder and rename all of these with the same beginning, but then the end needs to be underscore, Jane, etc. Then go back a level and go back a level again. Now we need to migrate the character folders to our other Unreal project, the one that has our MetaHumans in it. It's really important that you save the entire project right now. And now select the David and the Jane folders, then right-click and choose Migrate. Click OK, and then find the content folder for the Unreal project that you have your MetaHumans in. So the Unreal project that's version 5.6, 5.7, or 5.8. And then click Select Folder. It will process for a few seconds. Now I can move on to the next step, which will be retargeting that animation in the other Unreal project. So open up that other Unreal project, the one with your MetaHumans in it, and you go into the characters folder in there. You're going to see those two folders are now in there. Now we need to add our MetaHumans to our scene and set up a quick level sequence. So go to All Content MetaHumans and open the David MHCHAR folder. Now drag its blueprint into the scene. Then in the Details panel, zero out the location and rotation. Now in the Content browser, go to All Content MetaHumans and then go into the Jane MHCHAR folder. Drag her blueprint into the scene. And once again, zero out the location and rotation. In the Content browser, go to All Content, make a new folder and call it Sequences, and open it. Then right-click and make a new level sequence. Call it SEQ underscore and then the name of your scene, and open it up. The sequencer will open up. Now drag your first character, so David, into the sequencer, and delete any layers that end with rig. Now drag in the Jane character and delete any layers that end with rig. And now we're ready to add the body and face animation, but we actually have to retarget that animation first. Let's start with the body animation. So close Sequencer for now, and in the Content browser, go to the Characters folder, open the David underscore BSM, etc. folder, open the Skeletal Meshes folder, then right-click on the Skeletal Mesh asset. Hover over Create near the top, and then click IK Rig. Change the top of the name from IK underscore to IK Rig underscore. And then go back to the Characters folder and open the Jane BSM folder, and then the Skeletal Meshes folder. Once again, right-click on the Skeletal Mesh, go to Create, IK Rig. Rename that from IK underscore to IK Rig underscore in capital letters. And now go back to All Content, and then make a new folder called Retarget Flow to MetaHuman. Now open the Characters folder, and then the David underscore BSM, etc. folder, and then the Skeletal Meshes folder, and then right-click on the animation sequence and choose Retarget Animations. Click the Target Skeletal Mesh dropdown, type in your first character, which is David, and then click on the Combine Skeleton Mesh. Now in the list of animations, choose the David one, and then click Export Animations. In the pop-up, click on the folder Retarget Flow to MetaHuman, and then click Export. And on the next pop-up, click on Export. Once it's done, in the Retarget Flow to MetaHuman folder, you'll see the new animation sequence. Change the AS underscore to AS underscore retargeted. In the content browser, go back to All Content Characters and open the Jane folder and then the skeletal mesh folder inside that. And then right-click on the animation sequence and choose Retarget Animations. Click the Target Skeletal Mesh drop-down, type in Jane, and then click on the Combine Skeleton Mesh. Now in the list of animations, choose the Jane one, and then click Export Animations. In the pop-up, click Export. And on the next pop-up, click on Export. Once it's done, in the Retarget Flow to MetaHuman folder, you'll see the new animation sequence. Change the AS underscore to AS underscore retargeted. Now go back to the sequencer. And under BP David MHCHR, on the body track, click the plus icon. Then hover over Animation and type in Retargeted and choose the David one. Now under Jane MHCHAR, on the body line, click the plus, then hover over Animation, type in Retarget, and choose the Jane Retargeted. Now you might need to adjust the floor to around -140. It'll be different for each one. And then you also want to change the frame rate to 24 frames per second, and then adjust the actual play area to make sure that you're seeing the complete animation. Now let's retarget the face animations. So in the content browser, go to All Content MetaHumans, then Common, Face, and then right-click on the SKM underscore face skeletal mesh, or it might be called SKM underscore face underscore preview if you're using 5.7 or 8. Hover over Create near the top, and then click IK Rig. Change the top of the name from IK underscore to IK Rig underscore. And now go back to All Content, Retarget Flow to MetaHuman. Right-click, hover over Animation, Retargeting, and then click on IK Retargeter. Name it as RTG underscore Flow to MetaHuman. Double-click to open that up. Then change the Source IK Rig asset drop-down to your IK Rig underscore David asset. Now under Target, change the default target IK Rig to the IK Rig underscore SKM underscore face underscore preview. Now under Target Preview Mesh, change that drop-down, type in David, and choose the David Face Mesh. Now in the bottom left corner in the Asset Browser, double-click the file called AS underscore David underscore BSM, etc., etc. Now in the tab above called Op Stack, click on Add New Retarget Op. And this might be slightly different if you're using 5.7 or 5.8. And in this drop-down that's appeared, click on Remap Curves. Now click on the Remap Curves item. In the Details tab under Remap Curves, there's a Curves to Remap item, and then it says Zero Array Element. What we need to do is add some items in here. So to do that, download a free text file that's in a zip that's here on my website, virtualfilmer.com/free stuff. Download the one that's called Unreal Retarget Array for Flow Studio to MetaHuman Facial Blend Shapes. Unzip that, and you'll get a text file. Open that text file in Notepad, select All and copy. Then back at Unreal, just to the right of Curves to Remap, right-click and say Paste. Now you'll see it's changed to 174 array elements. Now if you scrub through the timeline in this pop-up window, you'll see that the face is animating. Now we can export that animation. So at the top of the asset browser, there's a very small button that says Export Selected Animations. So click that, and in the pop-up, click on Retarget Flow to MetaHuman, and then in the suffix text field, type in _faceAnim to MH, and then click Export. And in the next pop-up, click on Export. Now we've done the David face animation, but we need to do the Jane face animation. So under Target Preview Mesh, change that drop-down to the Jane face mesh. Then over in the left-hand asset browser, double-click on the AS_Jane item. Then click on Export Selected Animations. And in the pop-up, click on Retarget Flow to MetaHuman. And then in the suffix text field, type in _faceAnim to MH. And then click Export. And in the next pop-up, click on Export. Now go back to the sequencer. Make sure you're on frame 0. And we'll start with David. So click the plus to the right of the face layer for David. Then hover over Animations and type in Face. And choose the David asset that ends in _faceAnim to MH. Then for Jane, click the plus next to her face layer. Hover over Animations. Once again, type in Face. And then find the Jane asset that ends in _faceAnim to MH and click that. Now, if you scrub through or play through the animation, you'll see that everything is working, the body animation and the face animation. Obviously, you'll want to do some adjustment of this. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a really good starting point.